What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Clickbait. Like always, we got Bachelor Nation Breakdown. We are going to break down a little bit of what happened in Michelle's episode this week. We have our Clickbait of the week where we talk about more relationship-y things, how you respond to some serious questions that, you know, your family asks you over the holidays. I always had a tough time with that. But yeah, we can't wait to get into that. That's Natasha's expertise. And very excited about our guest. We have the one and only Nayte on the podcast. He is Michelle's top two. So we're going to ask him everything that's been going on during the season, how he's feeling right now, how he felt, you know, hometowns, fantasy suites. Can't wait to get into it with him. But how's everybody doing today? Everybody looks lovely.
Good. I had a whole energy drink and I'm like,
wired, honey, I'm there.
Yeah, I had a coffee. I feel like, Tia, I think you and I should wear black every episode now.
I think it looks
even
good.
Even the next one, I think we should wear black.
Oh, good idea. Okay, yeah, black's so flattering on everyone. Okay, yeah, good call.
And what should I wear?
You should always wear something with a ton of colors because that's your thing.
Maybe like blue and white.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, guys, my shirt says "The universe smiles upon you."
Oh, I love
that. Giving that to you.
Wow.
Love the universe, Bob.
It smiles upon us.
Yeah.
Smiles at, Okay, sure. Sure, yeah.
Around you.
Are you one of those people when you land in a new state or country, you like take your shoes off and walk on the ground it's like supposed to get rid of jet lag?
No.
Okay. All right. So the first Bachelor Nation.
That you would.
But I can tell you what I do to get rid of jet lag.
I don't do that.
Grounding?
What?
Like you walk on grass?
I sleep with all the windows. I don't sleep with blinds when in a new time zone.
So the light comes in?
Yeah, because I'm light sensitive. So, you know, when you like have blackout curtains and stuff like that, like if the sunlight comes in, I'm waking up. That's my jet lag, to get over jet lag. That's just me.
Good on you, because my ass is snoozing.
I do coffee. Okay, so
let's go,
baby. Let's get into the first breakdown. Ryan and Trista Sutter from the Bachelorette season 1 celebrate 18 years of marriage, and they actually came across on my Explore page, and it's pretty. You know, I think it's a great thing for the franchise, and just for the show that the first couple that ever got together on the show are still together. They're happy. They're celebrating 18 years of marriage. 18 years is a long-ass time. They have 2 kids. And, I mean, that came from
Was she on a Bachelor season, or was she just randomly picked to be the lead?
No, she was the first Bachelorette.
But I didn't know if it was just random or if she was on The Bachelor.
She was on Bachelor season 1. She was on the first season.
No one. Yeah. So there was no one before that. So I've been dying to talk to you guys about this.
I'm looking them up really quick because
she was on Alex's season of The Bachelor
when they got married. Let me look her up.
Do you guys think the success of these 2 people contributed to the ABC execs being like, yes, this show is right?
Well, that and ratings and all that, but I do believe
because what if they did, what if like the first 7 people they were together and they broke up, you know what I mean, you're on a show, it's just a magical thing, all these beautiful things are happening, and we'll talk about it later with Michelle because something happened this last episode. I said, yeah, boo, you on a TV show, of course it's beautiful, of course it's amazing. You know what I mean? But it kind of thank you to them because would we even be here right now?
Because of them, there's us.
That's true.
That's why people always say producers this, producers that, and yada yada, all the bullshit. But they are still trying to keep the integrity of the show, which is to fall in love. It's not to get popular after, even though it happens, and we're able to take advantage of that.
Yeah,
but not then.
I feel like that's a difference.
Yeah, not then.
Yeah, and this, Yeah, and I think that's, and they, I think, are the face of what the show's about.
Mm.
You know?
Wait, over 20 million people watched their wedding. It was like a 3 episode thing or 3 hour?
20 million people. That's a lot.
That's a
Episode
lot
wedding
of
special,
people.
and now it's like not even a part of.
That's like 20
show.
million. That's like, I think that's like more than the NBA Finals by like double.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the NBA Finals is like 7.5 million or something.
I feel like people that don't even watch The Bachelor anymore, like they used to watch it, don't watch it anymore, they always remember Ryan and Trista.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but I also think that it was probably, The Bachelor was like a pioneer in this, where it's like you are actually seeing two people in front of your eyes fall in love. Whereas now there's so many dating shows, there's so many this, so many, people see it all the time.
Right.
But back then it was like, I didn't watch it, of course, back then. I was a lot younger, but I would be like, oh my God, if I didn't believe in it, I believe in it now. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's just, it's so magical. It's so beautiful. And even like, when it gets down, this is one of the reasons why now watching the show, when it gets down to hometowns and it gets down to the fantasy suites, you're literally seeing these people fall in love in front of your eyes. And that is so magical. It is so beautiful. Wow.
And I would
Congrats
say
to
it's
them. That's so special.
I would say they're even motivation for like dating apps and just like, all these different dating shows. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, and there's no set timeline. It doesn't have to be the norm, and it can work.
Yeah, we're throwing the norm away. Who needs it? It's
It
boring.
might
Okay.
just work for you. Sign up for The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
We love
I love that. All right, number 2, we have Brie Springs finally introduces the world to her new man. So if you do follow Brie on Instagram, she has posted with her boyfriend a bunch of times, but she's never shown his face. Brie is really good friends with Serena, and I'm also friends with her. So, we knew she had a boyfriend, but I think he just likes to stay
Joe
private.
also knows the exclusive tea about this.
No, I think from my understanding is
He's a private
he
person.
he wants to keep his life private, which I respect.
Yeah. No.
No, I'm
not.
pretty
He
sure
has
he's in.
large arms.
He might have been
hands.
he might have been like in college or something like that.
Okay.
But I had dinner with Brie, and she's not hiding him,
Yeah.
It's just that I think that respecting the fact that he's a private person
Totally
is
get
more
it.
so the thing. And also, people come for you, people come for your boy, people come for your girl. Like, people are, it's such a
Oh, yeah.
public thing, right?
Yeah.
So there was a picture, though, that she posted. This was so funny. It was a picture that she posted of her in like these mirrors with him on her Instagram. If you guys go to her Instagram, you see it. And his head is cut off. Like, he's like a lot taller than her, and his head is cut off. But in the picture reflection, you see his face. And everyone was commenting like, nice try, we see him. It was so funny.
Maybe
it was
she was
hilarious.
trying to be discreet, okay?
It was hilarious. It was so funny. But
They're really
she
cute
seems
together.
very happy. And actually, he is good friends with one of my guy friends. And so we were all together one day, and they were like, oh, we recently met her at a wedding, and she was so sweet. And they were asking me, did I know her? And at the time, I hadn't met her yet. And so I was like, yeah, but I've heard nothing but great things. So small world always, and she seems very happy, and we are rooting for them. I hope she get married. That's it.
I think they're doing just fine. Okay. All right.
Yes,
and then we
yes,
have number 3 is, if you watch this week, things got really dramatic during the Fantasy Suite episode of The Bachelorette as Michelle has to narrow down to her final 2 guys. Go ahead.
Wait,
Say it. Say it.
Wait, this is not a headline, but I just saw something really funny on Instagram about Bachelor Nation. So Dale was in a movie.
Shit, I saw that.
Did you see that?
I actually saw that too.
You saw
what
that in
is
a
that
movie or a
movie?
TV show or something? Yeah, and then
What is that rom-com? It looks like a rom-com that's like...
I just got to say, I stand Claire so much right now because she said, y'all can stop sending me this trailer. I got a she posted a thing and said, I got a firsthand look at his acting or something like that. I said,
no.
hell, Claire.
No.
It was so hilarious. I was like, this is so funny. She literally gives no fucks. But also, like, yeah, people don't do that. Like, she's not trying to think about him. Why y'all sending her this?
Right.
Like, when people send me stuff about you know who, I don't care. I do not care.
Yeah.
That was so random.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I saw because when I first saw the cover poster for that, I was like, wait, is this real?
It
And
looks
then I looked and,
photoshopped.
yeah, it does, but it's real. Hey, listen, I mean, I wish the guy the best. If he's an actor, go for it.
Right. And if, not everybody gets to get out of the Bachelor bubble and more power to him for trying to do it. I just thought that the Claire shade was great. Personally, I know it was.
I honestly think I do think that I would be a great sitcom character. Just saying. Okay, so no. Okay, so things get dramatic.
How do I make this about me? My name's Joe.
Yeah. See how I did that?
The show's gonna be called Joe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if I ever pitched the show, that would be the name of it. Okay, so. Number 3, things get. That's not funny. That's not funny.
Above average Joe.
Above average Joe.
Yeah. Not your average fucking Joe. That's what he's gonna be called. Okay. All right.
Got
So
the script written, Natasha. It's already written out.
that's one thing I hate. That's associated with my name, Average Joe. I hate that. There's not too many things that get under my skin. Average Joe bothers me. I don't like it. Okay. All right.
Honey, triggered. Somebody is riled up. Honey,
right,
someone's activated.
All right. No, yeah, that's the one thing. Ooh, I don't like it. Okay, number 3. This week, things get really dramatic during Fantasy Suites. Michelle narrows it down to her final 2 guys. It was an intense episode.
Who was your favorite overnight date?
What is Natasha doing?
I mean, it was a lot. I went back to the episode.
Fanning herself.
I think like my biggest takeaway, the breakup with her and Joe, that was pretty rough. That was intense. And I feel for Joe because he's a quiet guy, and people they're giving him a lot of he can't open up or this. He's just a quiet guy. For me, it was I thought that the Michelle and Joe breakup was pretty heartbreaking. But hey, you get down to the 3 people, it's got to be done. I felt like that relationship had the most opportunity to grow, and it just kind of it just didn't get there. So as a viewer, I wanted to see that happen.
Well, even at the end too, he said he could see them being married and in their house and going back to Minnesota together. And I'm like, yeah, logistically that would be
perfect.
Really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think she cried when Brandon pulled her because she knew she was sending Joe home? Like when she got emotional with Brandon? Do you think it's because she knew, she had made a decision or something? I don't know. So I didn't expect her to get emotional.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think when it comes down to when you're at the final 3, I feel like you'll get emotional over
anything.
Anything room service.
Right. When she cried when she was talking to Brandon, I think that at least this is what I want to think. I mean, I can't wait to talk to Michelle about this at some point maybe. But I felt like she was crying because she knew how worried he was, but she wasn't gonna send him home, and she's seeing how this person is just continuing to pour himself out to her. I guess that's what I think. I don't think she was going to send Brandon home. I think that she was always gonna send Joe home. Mm-hmm. And
same.
Here's my hot take. This is my personal hot take. Outside of The Bachelor and Bachelorette, if Joe would have actually given their relationship a chance, Michelle might not even be here right now.
Oh, in the DMs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
That's my hot take. And I think that's something he going to have to live with. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, but I think Joe's going to do just fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. No,
issue.
he'll be fine. He'll be totally fine. And I think that this is Joe's story is the reason why this show for certain men is so amazing, because I don't think he can ever navigate another relationship, ghosting someone on DMs, like hit the growth that he was like, I ghosted this person. She's so freaking amazing. Like, he probably is going to have to now understand what being vulnerable and showing his emotions means to a relationship when you're actually looking for a wife. And I think, seeing what people or hearing what people learned about themselves on this show, that's the other part of why this show personally kind of helps you grow. If that it breaks you down, but then it helps you grow. He's heartbroken, but he's going to have a lot to reflect on personally.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Did it for us as well.
100%.
Yeah. Well,
still working on it.
All right.
Still working on
it. We have 2 guys left. We have Nayte and Brandon. We will see what happens. We have Nayte coming on the podcast, so I think we'll even get a better feel for who she might choose when we talk to him. All right, so I think we're good with Bachelor Nation breakdown. Should we, Natasha? Should we get into this?
Yeah, let's go. Clickbait of the week. When are you getting married? Have you guys had those questions yet? When are you getting married? It is the holidays. I don't know what the holidays do to people when they see people that they haven't seen in a while, cousins, friends, kins, whatever. And they're like, oh, when are you getting married? Oh my God, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? I'm not getting that question this year.
And it's like coming from the aunt
Joe,
who's been
you
divorced
might.
2 times.
Yeah, Tia, you might. How are you guys
actually so true.
How are you guys
going
to do this? Yeah, and Betty said, honey, you only working on your first ring. I need the second and the third.
I will say, I would rather be asked, when are you 2 getting married, over when are you going to get a boyfriend? Or why are you single? Why are you still single? And it's always like the older ones too, like grandparent age that aren't even your grandparents. And they're like, is everything okay? Like, you're 30. Why don't you have a boyfriend? I'm like.
And it's always so judgmental too. I remember being like 16, and they'd be like, and I would go to and they'd be like, how do you not have a girlfriend yet? Why? And I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe because
what's wrong with you?
What do you want me to do right now? I'm trying to figure out fucking life. I'm 16.
Now here's a question. Do you think of your family? Do you think men get this question more or women get this question more? Like the winner, why don't you have a girlfriend? Why don't you have a boyfriend type of thing?
I mean, growing up, I used to get it all the time. And I don't know if I feel
like the guys get it in my family. The guys get it more than the girls do.
Yeah, I used to get it. I don't know if that was a Chicago thing because growing up, I remember, having just older cousins and even like my friends, when you were 18, 19, you were in a serious relationship with somebody that you planned on marrying.
Yes.
And to me, that just never.
Yeah.
That to me, that just never felt right, and it just wasn't my path, and I was just like, I don't know, I'm chilling right now. So, and then I would stop going to family parties sometimes because I would just be annoyed at that question because it almost sometimes I think it makes you feel, at least for me, embarrassed,
like you're in a rush and not your timeline is off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're not you'd feel almost like you're not good enough, or something's there's a reason why there's something wrong with you, which is not the case. People I think try to put their life experiences
on
yours, yeah, which is just not the way it works and the way it shouldn't work. But
and a step further, as women in our 30s, it's you need to hurry up and get married so you can have babies, and it's this timeline has to be just perfect and expected, and it's a lot of pressure from other people that we're not even putting on ourselves.
Yeah, and I will say that just personally, it's my personal opinion, as women, we tend to, societally take on our husband's burdens or our boyfriend's burdens, or, if you have kids, your family, like you become a mom before anything, you become a wife before anything. And for certain women that are in their 30s, 40s, 50, whatever, and they're still single or they're still looking for their mate, and I feel like this to myself, the growth that I have had in the last 3 years, like from then until now, it's so massive. And I just know myself, I'm such a nurturing, caring person. If I had a husband, I would be like, well, baby, how do I help? How do I, and it's like, so much of me is given to others. This has been a very selfish time, like, self-love, selfish time in my life, that I've grown so much where I'm normally just giving. And I feel like God knows that. So for our single ladies who are listening, I feel like, there is a place of growth that clearly you're still harboring or needing to do, or maybe figuring out balance between yourself. Like now I have my meditation practice, I have my yoga practice. Like I don't care if I have 5 kids, I'm still gonna take that time for myself because that's what I need now. I can't say that 3 years ago or whatever. Like you have to find ways to still give yourself that time. And I think that a lot of moms eventually they find it, but some people, as we continue to grow, you have to arrive to a certain point of self-love to really hone in what you can give someone else. And some people are just born with that, I think, or some people just know that from the beginning. Like even Serena, Serena's a lot younger than you, Joe, but she's such a mature person. I don't see her being like, well, I can't do anything because I got to do everything for Joe. No, right. She can be like, boo, I got to, hold on. You know what I mean?
Everyone's different. And it's, it's like for me, it's, it's been life experiences. Like, I am where I am now. Like, I don't think I was truly like comfortable with who I was and like happy with myself until I was like 30. So me in a relationship when I was 25,
very different.
I would have been probably a terrible boyfriend because I was still figuring my shit out.
Mm-hmm. And I look at Serena as someone who is a lot younger, but she's so comfortable with herself, and you can you feel it, you can tell, so it's just different for everyone. It's different for everyone in different points of your life. So if you're still finding that comfort, no matter how, and that's not an age thing, it's just a you thing, right? And like what you do for yourself and how you were raised or whatever that is. And so it, don't lose hope, ladies, but like, get your shit together.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. Yeah. No, but there's nothing wrong with being single, and you shouldn't let outside pressure force you into living a certain way that you might not be ready for, or you may never want. Like we're all different.
Yeah, you don't have to want to be married just because society says you're supposed to.
Exactly. So getting back to the clickbait, there's a few things that they say, and in the article, one thing that I do really want to point out is they talk about not going in it alone. So when you and Taylor go to your family, Tia and Serena and Joe, and if you're at it, basically the article's saying, for the sake of this conversation or this podcast, Joe and Serena, if you're at Serena's house and someone asks that question, you gotta just be supportive and let Serena take the reins, and vice versa. It's like if you're at your house and someone's like, so when are you guys getting married, or when are you guys having kids? It's like being that, letting the person whose family it is talk about it first, and not kind of butting in and being like, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's really good advice, because you clearly together have this bond, and you've clearly talked about when you're going to get married or have kids or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so seeing the confidence that each other has and just being that support system, that was like a big thing in this article that when I read it, and I was just like, that's so good, and just being that support system, I guess, for each other. And if you are single and people are asking you that question, just be like, look here, grandma.
Poor Taylor. My family has no filter, and they cornered him. They were like, all right, are you going to be with me? Oh, honey, yeah. Like, first time meeting these people. Like my parents' family friends. They're like, okay, Taylor, is this the one? Like, let us know. And he's just like, oh my God, I just met you people. He could handle it.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
but he handled it good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
thank
Well,
goodness.
Jesus.
I think that just goes to show you, everybody, just go at your own pace. And,
Go at your own pace.
and enjoy life. All right.
Boundaries.
Well,
We've talked about boundaries.
Boundaries. That's a big thing on the podcast. On the article, they also talk about boundaries as well. And sometimes you gotta you have to put your foot down and say, hey, we figuring this thing out. It's new. We like it. We love it. And if you don't want me to be single, butt out, grandma.
Yeah, he's gonna leave me if you don't quit.
Yeah, exactly. No, but
all right,
it's the holidays, and yeah, if you get cornered with this, or y'all have some advice for us to share with everybody, let us know. Because honestly, this is the one clickbait that I was like, oof, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it kind of depends on your family dynamic too. Some people just say shut the hell up, and some people crumble.
Yeah.
all right. Well, you know what? I don't know. I like this clickbait this week, but now it is over, and it is time for our guest. He is final 2 on Michelle's season. The man is 6'8". Why I'm throwing that in there? Really no reason, just to let you know. Everyone, please welcome Nayte to the podcast. Nayte, what's up? Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Good. So let's get a little background first. You are Canadian, right?
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
Where in Canada?
Winnipeg, Manitoba.
I
Okay.
feel like I know where that is on the map.
All right. So
Right above like North Dakota and Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
is it closer to Toronto or Vancouver?
It's right in the middle, I feel like. I'm not really
Okay.
sure. That's a good question.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, those are the only 2 places that I've been. So that's in Canada. All right. And
As
then
you
where do
know, Serena is also Canadian.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we love
Yeah.
Canadians.
Canadians are the best. They're very nice people.
The nicest.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why, like, when people, like, when Americans say that, are you guys just like, yeah? Or you're like, no, I know some Canadians that's fucking it.
No.
Like,
They're like notoriously polite. Yeah.
Why do you think, or have you put any thought into it, Canadians do really well on the show? They like, when a Canadian gets on the show.
I didn't even know that was a thing that Canadians do well on the show.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
success
do.
rate is high.
Yeah, the success rate's like really high.
What do we got? Caitlin Bristow,
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Serena.
I think the Canadians I know is Serena and Caitlin. And then obviously
Christy,
Kevin.
yeah, he was great.
Blake Moynes, Jesse Palmer, Nayte,
didn't know that.
and Vanessa Grimaldi.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't
They're-
live in Canada now, though, right? You
No,
live in
I'm in
Austin.
Texas. Yeah. I left Canada in like 2011.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's
And
like,
is
I
your
don't even fucking
family-
live there. You
Is your family still there, or are they here now?
Yeah, no, I'm the only one in the States. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Do you love Austin? I've never
Yeah,
been. I want to go.
Love Austin. You've never been?
It's
I live
so
in
fun.
Nashville. It's another like hotspot area. I feel like there's a lot of bachelorette parties and stuff in Austin.
Yeah. I heard it's really similar to Nashville.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, the
How's,
music is great.
I feel like so many people are moving to Austin. Has it like changed in the past few years?
I've only been there for 2.5 years, but the people that I'm friends with who have been there for a while, they do say it has changed dramatically. I mean,
Yeah.
traffic is crazy. I used to live up north, and it would be like 3.5 hours to commute to work and home from work total. So that was crazy. But now I live downtown, so a lot
My
easier.
Okay.
gosh.
All right, so let's get into the show. All right, your final 2. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Did you expect it?
All right.
Did I expect it? No. I packed like 2 suits.
Oh boy. Okay.
No, I didn't know what to expect, right? Like I kind of just went into it and wanted to just be unapologetically myself. And if Michelle and I vibe, great. If not, then I'll just go back to Austin and continue living my life. But no, I just wanted to go into it as open-minded as possible. And I didn't really have any expectations. I thought that would be like the best way to do something like this, right?
No,
Just
for
go-
sure.
Like not expecting anything, so you can just be yourself to the T and not get distracted by anything.
Start from the beginning. I want to know.
Yeah. Okay, Nayte, how did you get on the show?
Long story short, went out, met somebody. I invited him to a little get together the next day, and he told me that he got reached out by somebody from the Bachelorette, but he's taking his bar exam, and he thought, how funny would it be if I sent them your profile? And next thing you know, I am walking out of a limo and seeing Michelle.
Did they reach out to your friend on a dating app?
I have no idea how he
Oh.
Okay, because that's been a theme.
No, I think it was just like he got DM'd by somebody, and he was too busy. But then, and I just met him the day before, so that's kind of funny.
Oh, wow.
I just met him the day before, and then he's like, "How funny would it be if I just send them your profile?" And I was like, "Nah, don't do that." And then I told Bachelorette no like 3-4 times until finally I was like, "What's the worst that can happen?"
Oh, wow.
Really?
What was the length of time from that to when you stepped out of the limo?
Apparently, I was literally the last person to submit the application.
Oh,
I think,
wow.
like, because this all happened on like a Sunday, and then it was Wednesday was like the deadline, and I kept on kind of like leaving this person on red from Bachelorette, because I was like, no, I'm not on the show. And then she reached out to the guy, and the guy was like, dude, like stop wasting our time. Like just submit this application. Like chances are you're not going. Just submit the application. And so I was like, all right, I'll submit the application. And then
Look at you now.
Why were you hesitant?
Just not really I don't know. It was just I guess I'm more of like a private guy, and I never watched it. I mean, I've seen one season, and it was kind of just it just didn't really seem like something I would do, and just like have myself out there for everybody to see. I thought that was a little nerve-wracking and just kind of weird. It's just, I think.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it seems
my cup of tea.
Yeah, right, I get that. Yeah. All right, so then you basically you go in, no expectations. I feel like a lot of us do that, and I feel like usually the people that go the furthest do that. After you meet Michelle that first night, do things change instantly for you? Like, do you feel the spark, and now are you like, I'm here, I want to stay?
Yeah, that first night, talking with Michelle, I think I did kind of have a few guards up, but the conversation, I mean, I was nervous as all can be, but it just seemed really natural and easy to have a conversation. And I'm the type of person, like, even like my family is like the staple of the family dynamic is conversations. Like, all we do is talk, right? Like, we just talk about, like, we may not talk about our feelings and whatnot, as you guys already know, but we talk about whatever it is that we're talking about. It's just a lot of conversations about this and the other, politics, religion, race, sex, all that fun stuff. Even like from fun conversations to more serious conversations. And anyways, from like night one, I just saw how easy it was to have a conversation with Michelle. And that's something that I really liked.
Okay.
First impression
makes
rose.
Sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got the first impression rose.
You got the first impression rose.
Did you know what that meant when you got it?
Rodney kind of explained it more to me as we were roommates, but I mean,
that's a big deal.
He told me like in this world it was a lot bigger than I think I originally thought. So. Yeah.
And did you feel from like, you do the limo, you have the conversation, and then she goes talk to all these other people, and then she comes back and gives you the first impression rose.
Yeah.
Did you feel like after that first impression rose conversation is when things kind of, I don't know, bloomed, blossomed, or let you know, like, okay, I only packed 2 suits, damn.
No, not at all. Not at all for that. Like for my own personal, feelings and emotions. It was after the basketball date, the conversation that we had there. Like that was great. That was when I was like, I remember coming back and I was just like, whoa, like what's going on right now? Because again, I didn't have any expectations, but I didn't think I would be so drawn to somebody so quickly on a TV show. I just wasn't expecting that. And then, so this is literally the very first group date at the cocktail party. We have that conversation and I go back to my hotel room and I'm just like laying in bed, like, what is going on? This is new. This is weird. So that's,
is that because have you never been in love before?
No, I've not been in love before. And again,
I was the same way. Just
okay, yeah. And my whole thing, and that I think that's going to continue to develop. And I think like for me, when it comes to love, and I'm not trying to be like this, like philosophical brain guy or anything like that, but I've always kind of looked at love as like human beings are just so complex, and there's kind of only 3 categories that you can put love in. You're either falling in love, you're in love, or you love somebody. And I've always looked at it as it's kind of a shame that as humans you can only put such a huge emotion into 3 categories, right? Because you're obviously going to love your mom different than you love your brother. You love your brother different than you love your girlfriend. You're going to love your girlfriend different than you love your aunt, and the same way, different way that you love your dog, so on and so forth, right? And so like there's only 3 categories to put it in, and that's why I've always just kind of been weird with the word love, because it's just like, anyways,
it holds a lot of power. It does hold a lot of power. It holds
a lot of power, and I just don't play with that word. I don't play around with my emotions, my feelings, all that stuff. And for Michelle, like where how I was feeling about Michelle is like, I've been in relationships where, my heart was, my heart was feeling one way, but my brain wasn't, or my brain was feeling one way, but my heart wasn't. Mm-hmm. Now with Michelle, it was my first time that like both my heart and my mind were aligned. Like they was all pointing at Michelle. So
and it's on a show, and there's cameras, and a crew of people watching you make out, and there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. But that was the first time in my life that like I felt in sync. Like my heart was in sync with my mind. You know what I mean? And that's something that I just held on to. Maybe I'm not the most experienced in explaining my emotions or anything like that, but it was the first time that my heart and my mind were like completely in sync, and that's what I held on to. So
yeah, and I think that this show really does promote love, right? And what you're saying as far as, and I have brothers, and they also, like, I recognize that whole like you're in it, but your mind and your heart kind of are doing this thing. And I think also, again, I'm not a young man, but from what they have told me, it's something that you have to really put your mind into something. And like, you may have these feelings, but you have to kind of wrap your head around it. And this show really promotes falling in love, because you don't have these outside sources. You don't have your boys to go hang with. You don't have your family. You don't have all these outside things. And so for your journey specifically, when your stepdad came on and he said, like, I don't know if he's ready for this and all these different things, I think that a lot of people resonated with that, because what you said, I never brought family home, or I never brought a girl home to my family to meet my family or anything like that. I think a lot of young men kind of resonate with that because of these outside forces and things like that. So since the show has aired and that episode aired, what was the conversation like with your stepdad? Like, how did that go?
Yeah, that man straight up said,
he ain't ready.
That was a long conversation, right? And I understand it's a show. It's not the Nayte and Michelle show. There's a lot of different stories going on at the same time. I know that there's only like an hour and a half of actual footage for each week, so I get it, and it is what it is. But that was a really long conversation that I had with my stepdad, and it was a really long conversation that my stepdad had with Michelle. And there was like some key parts that we didn't see. But long story short, to answer your question, I mean, him and I know how the conversation went, and him and I know how the conversation went with Michelle. And I think that I think my stepdad he even kind of was like, you know what, I should have like taken a couple steps back in that moment, realizing that, you and I have never really had this conversation before. So like, who am I to say whether you're ready or not? You know what I mean? I think that, his gut feeling was that, maybe I'm not ready for an engagement. And that since I'm inexperienced or something, that maybe I should, take things slow. But ultimately, after talking with my stepdad and my mom, after that episode aired, when we obviously talked, the biggest takeaway is that they just don't want me to get hurt, right? They,
totally.
I think that's where most of their concern was really coming from. It wasn't really like, oh, is he ready or not? It was more so like, we can see how Nayte is, or Nathaniel, as they call me, how Nathaniel is feeling about Michelle, and this is new, and you know, like there's a chance that he could just be absolutely heartbroken in the most public way possible, which, you know, kind of like adds fuel to the flame, right? So I think, like, you know, my mom said it best. She was just being like a big mama bear and was, you know, just wanting to protect her son from possibly being heartbroken, you know, so yeah.
Well, they don't get to know Michelle sense. Like you did. Like you get to know Michelle.
Exactly.
Of course they want to protect you. That was a really cool moment, though, with your stepdad getting to say I love you for the first time. It's really sweet.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know, I'm also not like a philosophical guy and talk about, I really don't, like, you know, I never really talked about my feelings before the show. Yeah. But, you know, when people say, oh, you're not ready for love or this, it's just like, you know, love, can't believe I'm saying this, but like love, it just like happens, right? It just happens, and it doesn't. It's not like you're not ready or you were always prepared for love. It's like it happens, and when it happens, you know, like you said, you know, you feel it, and then you're feeling all these new feelings, and you know, go for it.
Oh no, I was just saying that's exactly kind of what it was spliced funny, but that's exactly what I was saying to Michelle yesterday when she was asking those questions at the dinner, when I was talking about, like, you know, I don't want all the answers in life, because like that sounds like a boring life to me. Like realistically, like life is all about like the unknown, right? And that's what that's I probably didn't say it as well as I.
You scared me at that dinner. You're like, no pressing questions. She's
right?
Like,
no,
sir?
but like.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
No, that's
but you recovered.
That's what I was trying to say, is that like life is all about the unknown. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like when I moved from Canada back to Washington, you know, I didn't have a job. I wasn't even enrolled back in school. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I just trusted myself, right? When I packed up and bought a one-way ticket, like 2 days before graduation, I bought a one-way ticket and just packed one suitcase. Didn't know anything, no job, no nothing, no anything. I just moved to Austin. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just trusted myself, right? Mm-hmm, and like, so when Michelle's asking me, like, there's one thing between being in love with somebody, or falling in love with somebody, and an engagement. Like what I was trying to say in that moment was, like, I don't have all the answers. Like, I don't know what life is going to look like if you and I are to leave this bubble. I have no idea what life's going to look like. Same thing with Charles when he says, like, when he was asking me a lot of those questions, all I knew is that I trust myself. Like, I trust that I'm falling in love with you. I'm trusting that, like, I seriously want to be with you. And I don't have all the answers. You know, I don't have I'm not the perfect answer guy who's going to tell you everything you want to hear. I'm going to tell you that this is new. I don't have all the answers, but that is life. You don't have all the answers all the time, but I trust myself, and I want to do this with you.
Yeah, there was a key thing you said too. Yeah, you trust yourself, but you also said you trust her, and that was like the big like recovery, I think, in that moment. So speaking about the episode, when Brandon pulled her in that moment, taking you back to that moment, I know it was a few months ago or whatever, but did you think that, like, what was going through your mind during that moment? Did you think that, I mean, I know, and you said a Hail Mary, you said something about like throwing a Hail Mary, like he's feeling a certain way. Did you think he was going to talk to her about you guys, or like, what did you think was happening? Because I was like, Nayte looked like he about to run. He looked like he about to be like, stop, bro. Nah.
Oh, what was I thinking? I don't know. You know, yeah, I have no idea. I think in the moment I was kind of just, you know, obviously a little ticked off, but
totally.
Hey, you know, him and I had a conversation earlier in the week that rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. So I think I was just a little bit in my feelings at that moment. But in hindsight, you know, hey.
It also doesn't help that you had to come back from your fantasy suite date and see the other guys.
Yeah, and that was definitely a hard part for me. I remember in the moment it was hard for me to adjust, because you know I definitely, like, after that night with Michelle, I was so, I'm like, this is what I want, you know. It was just like, I've never felt this before. This is what I want. You know, I love this girl. I'm in love with this girl. I'm still falling in love with this girl. I was on a high, and then, you know, you come and you're like, oh, it's a rose ceremony. Like, I'm still on this weird TV show after just spending, you know, the best night of my life. And it was like, oh, this kind of sucks. But
it was probably the very next day too.
It was the very next day.
Yeah.
And I think that's normal. I mean, you guys it shouldn't be like, you and Brandon at this point of the show shouldn't be like, man, how was it? It was a great time, wasn't it? Like, you guys should really be like, you know what? Honestly, like, I like you, but I don't right now.
Yeah,
and
fuck off.
and I think that's real, and that's just how it should be. But all right, we know we got to let you go, but is there anything about your experience that you wish you would change, or are you just, cool with the way everything went?
No, I'm happy with how everything turned out. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
I want to know, so your demeanor during the season, how you're just very chill, you're very laid back, you're very, like you've said it many times, I'm focused on my relationship, I don't want to worry about other people's relationship and things like that. I want to give you the chance to talk to the viewers, or to our listeners, about where that comes from, because I know other people, was it Chris that questioned that from you? And I, from my own, as a viewer watching it, see how everything that you said, the way you grew up and how you had this and you didn't know what was going to happen, blah blah blah. So just give our listeners some insight into how you navigated this beyond with your what am I trying to say here? Like, you focus on your relationship, but why that was different, I guess, than the other guys, and why and how you kind of kept leveled in that space.
I mean, you can only control the controllables, and like, no matter what I do, like, I will never know what's going on between Michelle and Brandon, or Michelle and Rodney, or Michelle and Leroy, or Michelle and Joe. Like, I will never know. I will never know what they're talking about. I will never know what they're doing. I will never know what their vibe is, whether they're both falling in love, if only one is falling in love, whatever it is. I will never know. So why think about it? So that was kind of like my own, it's just true. Like, all I can do is control my moments with Michelle. All I can do is control, my moments with Michelle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could only focus. Yeah, and you could only focus on yourself. It's the people.
And I think I rubbed, a lot of the guys the wrong way sometimes with me. But it's just
that
like,
probably stems from insecurity, though. Like, if they're insecure in their relationships, they're like, why is he so secure?
Yeah,
like that's kind of hard to do in that environment, and you did it very well.
Exactly. And I mean, I always like, whenever I was talking about this, or people who, friends or family who ask me about whatever, like, I always use the analogy, like, if somebody was to ask you, like, who would win one-on-one basketball, you versus Tiger Woods, like, do you even know, like, how you can compare yourself to Tiger Woods? We have no idea how that guy plays basketball. You know what I mean? Like, if you ask me about golf, I'm getting my ass kicked. Obviously, it's Tiger Woods. But about basketball, I don't know if he layup. I don't know if he's left hand, right hand. Does he have a jumper? Can he drive? Is he slow? Is he fast? So, like, that's like when you get questions in the ITMs, like, what do you think is going on with Brandon and Michelle right now, or who do you think is kind of like has a strong connection? It's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know what's going on between them. So how can I even start to compare myself to Brandon? How can I even compare myself to Joe? I have no idea what's going on over there. All I can do is compare myself to myself and, like, what I'm looking forward to when I see her next. So that's kind of what kept me level-headed. It wasn't until the end, like, the fireworks and whatnot, that I was like, oh shoot,
yeah,
like,
that was brutal.
I was just so focused on on me and Michelle. I was like, oh wait, there's other guys here.
Yeah. On a lighter note, I gotta say your eyebrows look good.
Hey,
they look good now, honey.
They grew back.
I swear, every episode I'm like, did we trim his eyebrows again?
No, every episode they're getting thinner and thinner. I was with Kiki when I messed them up too. She knows. I messed them up just a bit. She looked at me. She's like, your left eyebrow's a little thin, and it just kept getting worse. So
they look good, honey.
Hey,
shout out to Kiki. Oh my God.
Out to Kiki.
That's so funny.
All right. Well, I know we got to let you go. So thank you so much for coming on. Your final two, and I think that's because you stayed yourself, you're true to yourself, and you didn't let all the outside bullshit throw you off. So yeah, just watch the finale. It's going to be live. We can't wait to see you on it, and let our listeners know where they could follow you on social media.
Social media is at King Babatunde on Instagram. And if you care about Twitter, it's the same thing, I think.
Nice. All right. And the finale's Tuesday. So stay tuned. We're going to see our guy, Nayte, Michelle, and Brandon. Let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot,
All
guys.
right, Nate.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Nate.
you.
I just have to say, guys, one thing that I just realized this as we were just talking to him, and he was talking about like how he can't compare, blah, blah, blah. The one thing that I feel like Nate did over the other three was every time they had a conversation that we saw, it seemed, even if it was a little bit, they grew and they like grew and they like grew and they grew. Whereas Brandon was like kind of same, Joe was kind of same. They like kind of always had this growing moment. So that's it. That's all I got to say. And woo.
I
Go
feel
Nate.
like also too, and like he said, he couldn't compare anyway, but all he can really do is feed off of Michelle. And I feel like Michelle was able to instill that confidence in him. He was able to accept that and say, hey, okay, this is why I feel this way. So
she was giving. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, because there's a lot of
giving.
people that are like, he's too confident and he's just there for the game. No, he's vibing off of what his girl is saying.
Yes,
and and his feelings are a lot of them were just brand new, and he was rolling with it. So
yeah,
that's exciting, and he was just in the moment. So
the moment. That's a
Nate.
great. Yeah, that's a great thing to say. He was definitely in the moment, and he seems like he's in the moment, and a lot of people don't understand being in the moment. So yes.
Yeah, especially on the show.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So that was great. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Excited for the finale. So excited.
All right, thank you to our listeners, and thank you to Nate for being here. We are casting for the upcoming seasons of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Head to bachelornation.com/apply to nominate yourself or someone else.
Yes, and as always, make sure to subscribe and submit all your burning questions. Check us out on social and like, comment, DM us. You know where to find us at Clickbait BN on Instagram, Bachelor Nation on Twitter, and Bachelor Nation on Facebook and TikTok.
And share your stories with us. We want to know what clickbait you guys are getting to this week. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Wondery app, or wherever you guys are listening right now. And don't forget to tune in to the finale on Tuesday. See you next week.